And here we go. Expounding on every arousal and order of which it occurred, and with urges stirred and surging with each provocative word, and repressed and resting, now requesting pressing palms, at your clear and well-aware behest disturbing your calm. And while not well endowed, I gained entry to your shroud, as you shuffled me away from the condescending crowd. Oh, could I imagine, or fathom the tender moistness of your lips, any complaint or sense of restraint in thorough eclipse, fabric plastered to your warm and sweat-drenched skin, and rules rudely retooled and improvised, surprised and conjure a grin. Heels slide smoothly out as you shed your shoes. Sparks part the darkness with each motion from my muse, and divulging fond indulgences, displaying childlike craving, betraying your maturity and merry misbehaving, engaged in brazen naughty games as babies in a nursery to stave off the staleness of endless anniversaries. Don't taint your plaintive beauty with too much paint, some grateful restraint, for the light is faint. Head pressed and love slightly less than the one from your womb, the consuming scent flooding the room when lavender blooms, rubbing my temple with gentle sentimental strokes, kept from drifting drowsily to sleep with playful pokes, and with the onslaught of thoughts prodded by hormonal release, I'll collect your affections however long they may be unleashed. Good evening. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you for joining me. Hello, Mr. Bayan. Hello, everybody. Hello. Hello, Seth. I can't believe you're watching this. It's Thanksgiving, but thank you for watching this. Well, my speech holds up. I'll carry on. Here we go. Very quickly. Here we go. This is the heart you can't penetrate. It belongs to this man who strived to relate, but his joy and his spirit just disintegrate, the ire and the fire that inspire his hate. Gone is the sweetness of so long ago, now the frowns of the people who pity him so. They clasp their denial, for they cannot let go, who ask for a smile and he coldly says no. Where the long tresses is grown to resent, his eyes are uncaring and indifferent. The grin is diminished and the humor is spent. He pays no attention to your tearful lament. Oh, what was the attraction to which they were drawn? Now nothing remains to gaze upon. He grew so disgusted by how they would fawn, and now that persona is buried and gone. So where's the pleasure, and where's the rush? Stifled and silenced in a deadening hush. Just keep cheap sentiment and unbearable slush. He can't understand why his friends look so crushed. His feelings are burning and bitter to taste. He shatters his past with passionate haste, so broken that one could not possibly paste. Memories he can no longer fear to face, shying away from those who come near. His warm expressions have all disappeared. No patience for tears, he won't even care. He's really no longer even there. Now, this is an argument to read the poetry with my glasses on because I'm misreading the words. Terrible. Hi, Johnny. Hello. Hi, Mike. Good evening. There's this other person. I can't read their name because it's in Arabic, but hello. Thank you for joining me. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. And now that I have my glasses on, it should be much easier to read the poems. Okay, this is one. Oh, to cross the Cambridge Bridge with no smidge of melancholy, soft balls and crimson falls and green-lined trolleys. No need to pack those cashmere sweaters or the knitted scarfs. Though deprived of her gourmet Danish, she'd just as soon starve. Who'll wade you through the maze of gazers to spur you on, or pass in the parade, or run in the marathon, or motion you near while sipping beer and aiming a camera phone, carousing on the harbor cruise as pickled kisses are blown. Her friends descend from the North End to share in a welcoming espresso blend, pretend to comprehend why she should upend her existence, or separate herself with such a stifling distance. Shrouded in the loud crowds and thick summer air in Kenmore Square, with passionate post-game partiers charged with chair, and bowling 7 strings at King's for girls' night out, then drinks and winks at Clarice as the evening winds down, or fabled table spreads cradled in thoughts of Anthony's at Pier 4, while crashing waves permeate the days seldom numbered before. Farewell hugs to college chums leave her privately numb, so glum despite a plum job and sun-spun days to come. As traffic snarls along the Charles, she fears of missing her flight. She'll rummage through her luggage for freshly baked delights. The Back Bay gym where she flexed her limbs and tasteful urban flat, fading as she looks sadly back at her Boston habitat. Hi, everybody. Who else? I'll carry on. Well, these poems are loaded with words to make sure I read them carefully. All right. Now, this is a poem I wrote a few years ago. I wrote it for Halloween, about Dracula. Okay. This is how it goes. There are just aren't enough covers to cloak this eerie chill. Fires blaze and oil has been filled, yet it's cold ever still. And nourished as I am by the Count's old world cuisine, it sits unsteadily on my stomach as my host remains unseen. Do I imagine shadows stretching long across the wall, voices brimming with bravado or sweet seductive call? No strength to lift my head as all feeling ebbs away. I cannot see a soul reflected in the dinner tray. Now they gather, bold with swagger, cold cadavers, hissing like adders, with unholy chatter. The odor of mold and an ungodly stench, a savage thirst demanding to be quenched. Each human life macabrely sustained, as they fed on each fool whose blood they had drained. Cradling him cruelly, she carried him to her crypt, a muffled moan in a terrified tone as she held him in her grip. And with her victim concealed and the defiant strut, his fate was sealed as she slammed the door shut. The stranger to the day, who cheats decay, who prowls among the owls as wolves bay, she surrendered her soul centuries ago. In a soiled nightgown she'll menace the town, drive men to madness till they wilfully drown, or jump to the jagged stones below. And with dreadful deeds done she will reappear, and wipe her lips with her fist as her blood is smeared. Spiders slay their prey and rodents run across the floor. A night has passed away and their youth has been restored. I'm a little thick tonight, but... Oh, boy. Sorry. Clear my throat a little bit there. All right. Carry on. Carry on. This is one. The sacred sum of her pure particles, dispensing the kisses at the town carnival. In a pink summer dress, she stood at her station, with a bland, pleasant smile assessing each patron, and shutting her eyes, and pursing her lips, and laughing politely at unfunny quips. Her spirit is stretched and diminished, although her shift is far from finished. Gazing out upon the barely thinning throngs, scouring the crowd for the one to whom she belongs. Another customer, chatty and randy, with a breath of beer and cotton candy. A light quiet rip as she pulls away, her L'Oreal stripped in the course of the day, the oddest assortment of tastes on her senses, while running the risk of the grim consequences. Her poisoned palate and a plethora of smells, and the pound of a mallet and a clang of a bell. The sky turns to crimson as she exits her booth, with the breeze at her knees and the wonder of youth, and rests on the bench with her face warmly drenched, her hunger appeased and her thirst quenched by a giant soft pretzel and a $4 beer, as a muscular hand strokes the length of her hair. Hi, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for tuning in. This is great. I got to tell you, I can't believe I'm doing this. This is wonderful. I'll carry on. This is a dark one. Okay, here we go. Harold was discovered uncommonly erect, neither battered nor tattered, not at all suspect. Not a gash, nor a scratch, nor a bone roughly broken, and possessing an unused subway token, and gifted with wit and delightfully quick, yet often regarded as a bit of a prick, a salt-laden stab or a light-hearted poke. Not everyone willing to take the joke. I frequently tried to send Harold a message to eschew with taboo and unsavory fetish, for he pined for a princess who was firmly engaged. He invited and ignited her man's wrathful rage. Is this my conclusion? Some grim consequence? Did someone knock Harold from his high cocky fence? Whether haughty or harmless or full of dung, well, someone certainly silenced his tongue. And with his face untouched and hair undisturbed, and all of his dark habits effectively curbed. Or what has hushed the old boy? Who can tell? Perhaps he was humbled by some vision of hell, a petrified stare on a face drained of color. Poor Harold now seems considerably duller. Didn't scroll down. So take his trembling hand and see he makes it home. Put him to bed, pat his head, and let him alone. Oh dear, oh my. Okay. Thank you, everybody. I forgot to wave to you guys, I'm sorry. Okay. All right now, okay. All right. Here's one. Dark one. Oh, would I be disowned or roundly condemned if I were to hasten my own end? While years disappear, I wilt from the guilt, finding no pleasure in the shrines I built. Unrelenting corruption and cuts no longer mending, and loud disapproval of my leisurely spending, and wish I didn't give a lick, but your judgment stick, and the damage is quick. I no longer find solace in my favorite haunts. I just sit there dispensing the intended response. You just carve away the layers to uncover my core, but my sweet candy center isn't there anymore. Flirting with the trifles which you treat as though taboo, fundamental fears which scare you through and through, dire ruminations I ought not to disclose. You stood at my side till we stood opposed. My money poorly spent on nothing permanent, a filthy deviant with no will to repent. Breathing grows shallow, as eyes narrow, no longer feeling the pierce of your arrows, and dismay betrayed by a tranquil expression, afraid to reveal my inner affections. In this life I've frequently strayed from the course, shouting myself hoarse in heated discourse. In slight compromise there's little I've gained, just lasting resentment and utter disdain. All right. Hello. Hello. Thank you for joining me. Hello. I'll do probably 3 or 4 more. Let me see. Here's a familiar poem which I've read frequently. Okay. Here we go. In the hour just before the dawn, I'm reluctant now to sleep. Tomorrow brings just sorrow and doubt and deceit. And mornings are so unwelcoming and wasted on people like me, awakening anguish, anxiety, and stark misery. And when I open my eyes and my soul unfolds, revealing bleak despair, and wishing that I were aloof and just did not care. Her outline glides before my eyes while my lids are tightly closed. In a graceful pose, lovely clothes with her passions exposed. I wish not now to break the spell, pretending all is well. In the dawn all magic is quickly dispelled. In these fleeting feelings I find respite in the cover of a starry night. My reserves preserved airtight in a box full of light. The scents are sweet as I walk the street just drying from the rain, as the streaks of the dawn press on through my sky and my pain. Your heart where your art is nestled, gently nurtured and nursed, where they're safe from my grave contemplations and awful curse. And they are neither weighed on, preyed upon, decayed and gone. My harmful influence shall not compromise their innocence. If I have found your favor for a moment in my years, even as I embark toward the darkness which beckons me near. The instant that you cared and your smile was sincere, though the gloom draws near, promising the tears. Hi, Sally. Hi, Sally. Thank you for joining me. Thank you. I always feel much better when you're here. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. My speech is just beginning to disintegrate ever so slightly. So I'm just going to do maybe 1 or 2 more poems before it becomes noticeable. Okay. Here's my road to ruin. And when my skin is ashen or a deathly pallor, and the hallowed gallows are grim and sallow, from the vile, vicious verses I fashioned, I wish you were simply imagined, but I'm not that naive. When the saints and the angels grieve, it's too overwhelming, too sad to believe. Hope has turned the corner, and to these contented rooms I am a foreigner. Hospitable houses and the welcoming hands, and the loving gestures I shall never understand. Leave me in the hands of the corridor. Explain it away as plainly as you can, but only as much as your heart can withstand. In details revealed but gradually, lest you become a casualty, lest you succumb to the same despair and decay. Wait until I'm taken away. There's nothing useful to say, no reason to pray. The spirit has lapsed and the soul swept away. A body dissolved to a pillar of salt. No need speculating who's been at fault. When the others have wept and subsequently left, and your spirit is bereft, and you crave for comfort and closure, in private you break your composure, in the throes of some cathartic moan, tears spill in the moments alone. Thank you for smiling at me. uh, okay. I'm beginning to wear out here. So I'm just going to wrap this up, and hopefully this will all post to my Facebook timeline and to my story as well. Even though I did this live video earlier this afternoon and it still hasn't uploaded, so I don't know if this one will upload. But I hope it does. But I'll stop talking and I will read one more poem. Great, Peter. Stop talking. Read poems. Okay, here we go. Here I go. And this is called Rebecca Baldwin Gently Beckons from Her Bed. This mind has aimlessly wandered, as pointless things are pondered, with hours devoured and squandered, while my thoughts of you grow fonder, and faults and failures frequently considered, fruits of my labor go bitter and withered, and among the empty pleasures with which the days are littered, your fetching lips bending to a welcoming sliver. Precious treasures placed pointedly in your palm. Primal pleasures punctuate your pure and pristine calm. Let no one pry your fingers apart, lest they lose their luster when you are weighed down with worries and furiously flustered. In spite of the sorrows, sympathetically swallowed, your heart is never shut, nor gutted, nor hollowed. I have rejected your affections so grossly misplaced. A splendid peck from your glistening lips bears a terrible taste. Recoiling from your hand, I spat an acidic reprimand, and pulled up my sleeve, revealing an indelible brand. Damning denials and words condescending, inflict what I must to stem your pretending. As chilling confessions chill, then still, then kill your innocence. I'll crush whatever you consecrate and bear all consequence, and dash your delicate dreams and treat them as though they were drivel, and drive you away as your illusions of me they shrivel. Yeah, I know, fingers crossed, right? Okay, now I'm done. I can relax. I can breathe now. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Good night. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. And hopefully, yes, fingers crossed, as you said, hopefully this will all post momentarily to my timeline and my Facebook story as well. Bye, everybody. Good night.